The destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I get it how I live it.
Get it.
I live it how I get it.
Feel it. Live it. What? Oh, wow, Steven. Didn't even get the edited version on there. Hello.
My bad. I cut it.
We're all good. Hello, everyone. And welcome to the Flash After Show. We're talking Season 4, Episode 6, When Harry Met Harry, Met Harry, Met Harry, Met Harry.
Darling.
Just so many Harrys. I'm your host, Tiona Hobson, and joining me tonight, I've got my two lovely co-hosts.
What's up, guys? I'm Drew Jones, and yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Chauncey Robinson.
Okay, so Drew and I are clearly both having brain farts left and right already, and the
It
show
happens.
just started. So, Chauncey, it's all up to you at this
There we
point.
go.
Come back.
Here we go.
Now you got the version without
Oh,
Get it.
the cursing.
You can't see this, but I'm really twerking in my seat right now. Like, I'm really good at twerking. Anyways,
Sorry.
it's all good. So, let's dive into tonight's
Yes,
episode.
let's do
Last
it.
week we had the female-centric girls' night out, and this week it was right back to the boys.
it was,
Romance.
yes,
Yes.
right on there. It was the bromance central tonight, which wasn't bad.
No, it
Saw
wasn't.
some growth.
We saw a lot. We had a lot of pop culture references. Which,
Yes.
I mean, there's no way to get them all, so we're going to talk about as many as we remember to and get. But you guys in the chat, if you're watching us live on YouTube, hop into the chat. Let us know what your favorite pop culture reference was from tonight. And if you're listening back to us later, then just leave us a comment. Go on iTunes, go on YouTube, leave us a comment, and let us know what you thought. So let's start off with the case that's being worked. So we have a meta out there. Well, first of all, Dibney shows his true colors at the beginning of this episode.
Bless his heart.
I mean, he's still very sleazy.
Yes.
He just can't shake that whole private detective vibe he gives off.
private detective.
Yeah, it's all about the privates.
Yes.
This detective. That's all I did there.
You
Yeah,
said it, not me.
Nasty.
So him and Barry are out getting coffee, and clearly Barry has been the one purchasing coffee because he forgets his wallet every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Barry leaves a tip, and he takes it out when Barry's not looking.
Straight up thief.
Straight up thievery, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, this guy, clearly he was on the right track, and then he got led down. He made a wrong choice. You know, it's that fork in the road, and he could go left or right, and he chose left, and he should have gone right. And he just hasn't been able to get back. So what I loved about tonight's episode is that we kind of see a little bit of redemption from his character by the end.
Yeah.
So just to get a little bit into the case, we have this meta who is attacking people with inanimate objects. I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm smart. So she's using her powers to make things like a stone statue of a tiger, a lion, a
Jaguar. Yeah.
Which
Or
I just
Sabertooth.
want to throw out, if I personally had that power, I would do way cooler things with it than kill people with suitcases.
I mean, we've had this conversation though. Like, why aren't most of these metas using the powers that they get gifted to do something awesome instead of just, you know what? I'm gonna steal from banks. I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
people. You could be helping the world.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like with her in particular, Black Bison, that she thought she was inadvertently helping people, you know, or her people, the Sioux, and the Sioux tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, it was one of those things where it was an interesting gray area a little bit, not so much the killing, but like her motivation.
She thought it was for like a greater cause.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. You guys keep talking. I'm
Yeah.
just fixing
Yeah.
my headphones.
No, yeah,
yeah.
just with what she was doing, like the whole idea, like, her people have been, the Native American people have been ravished by the man, the white man or whatever, and that basically she's returned. She was an activist before it happened, and it seems as though like maybe with what's going on with the bus, with the metahumans, that it's enhancing whatever energy they had before then,
Yeah.
and like enhancing that, because we also saw a glimpse of the crier from
Weeper.
the weeper from last time there as well. He was already crying on the bus, and then I guess she was an activist that had got arrested one time. So
Yeah, so I mean, I get why she's doing what she's doing, and she does think that she's helping. So it's really cool to kind of see the balance of her thinking that she's helping people, where Dibney over here is so focused on catching the bad guy that he's forgetting to help the people in the surrounding areas. Him and Barry get into it about Barry's style and his tactics, because Barry lets her get away to save an innocent bystander. So how did you guys kind of feel in that moment of, you know, Barry has always been, you know, save the innocent, and here's Dibney like, no, we got to catch the bad guy, which sometimes I do be thinking, hey guys, aren't you fast enough to save everyone?
Yeah. I think it's interesting now that there's two of them, because I feel like, why can't you do both? Like, hopefully Ralph like gets into the swing of things where one can go after the bad guy, the other one can save the innocent bystanders. Like, I was kind of wondering, I was like, where is Ralph when Barry's like, what was Ralph doing in that like 5-second?
Well, he was admiring his very stylish super suit.
Clearly, because I was like, I feel like we could have nabbed this lady right then and there, but you know, we still have some more show to get through. So.
Full episode.
yeah, I thought it was kind of a play on Dibney's previous stuff, where like even when we had thought when we first met him that he was a bad cop, he was all about closing the case, right? Like that's why he did the whole planting of evidence and things like that. And I think in the beginning of the episode we saw a kind of callback to that, in the sense of, I don't care about the other people, I want to catch this person. And that's where he still was, even though he was back to crime fighting. It was all about the case, all about the bottom line. And we saw that contrast, because Barry's like, no, it's not about the bottom line, it's about the whole reason why we do this is to save the innocent people. It's not just about throwing this meta in jail. So that was a really cool, like, I thought, contrast between the two characters.
Yeah. Ralph sees very black and white, like, we do this, then this, and Barry's very, like, each situation you have to go into.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I read a couple weeks ago that this character was going to be introduced, and that him and Barry weren't going to see eye to eye on how to catch the bad guys. What I read into that was that Dibney was going to be more, we got to kill people. If we have to kill, we have to kill.
Like
and Barry's all, you know, innocent, and no, we have to save everyone. So I like that it wasn't that, and that it is this instead, and he's learning and he's trying to be a good person. And I even like that by the end he literally has all the feels.
Yeah.
He's caught all the feelings, all of the feelings, and just doesn't even know how to process being a human with emotions anymore. That was beautiful and sad all to see that someone is living like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, some more that goes on in this case. There's just so much fun stuff, but there's so much loaded in to a lot of these scenes that it was almost a little overwhelming for me tonight. I
agree 100%. It sometimes felt like scenes were almost like dragging on, and I think we even a couple times were like, how much time do we have in this episode?
It's only been 20 minutes. I thought they were about to close the case right now.
Oh, the episode just started? No.
We got it.
Yeah, there were a lot of climactic like moments emotionally between the characters. I think that's why it was feeling like, okay, it must be the end, because we're learning the lesson of the night.
Yeah,
there are many lessons.
Like Dibney has come to his sense. All right, no, it's like we haven't even solved the case yet, you know, because they thought they had the bad guy, Black Bison, and they didn't. And so.
You actually noticed something pretty cool about Black Bison, right?
Yeah, Ivan Soto actually in our chat pointed out as well, and what we were talking about when we were watching it, that this is not the first time, you know, Black Bison, the character, the villain of tonight's episode, didn't come out of thin air. They were actually, I say they in the sense because they were actually a guy in the comics when they first appeared in 1982. And in the Firestorm comic books. And so it was originally a man, and it was still the same kind of plot line of being a Native American. I don't remember what exact tribe they were from. In this version of Black Bison, she was part of the Sioux tribe, but still like with the idea of like, you know, sticking it to the man in terms of, and it was a talisman that they were after or that they possessed. And in this one, they kind of like redid it where it was an activist and it was a woman, which is cool. You know, like I'm always down for having a woman villain.
Yes.
You know, not always play the up and up character. So that was pretty cool. And they're actually Black Bison still in the man form is in the New 52s as well. Actually, they kind of teamed up with Killer Frost in those. So
Ooh. I wonder if we'll get to see Black Bison pop up in maybe like Legends of Tomorrow then, since it is a firestorm.
yeah, that might be.
Villain?
I mean, since that's where they were, first at.
Well, we know she's at Iron Heights, and everyone gets out of there eventually.
True.
I know, because
They-
Wolf, you can't trust Wolf.
Yeah.
Can't trust him.
That's
guy.
suspicious looking,
Yeah.
man.
It's like she's already. I mean, let's talk about some of her. So we capture her first, and well, first she uses the Jaguar to attack someone, and then she uses
The knight in
the knight thing
Yeah.
to attack people.
knight armor.
Yes, the
I keep wanting to say like knight in shining armor, but that's not correct.
yeah, and then in the museum when they're attacking her there, that was my favorite part.
Yeah,
because
that was pretty funny.
First I thought Night at the Museum,
Right.
the movie, this is going to be great. And then they brought a dinosaur to life and just Jurassic Park.
References just raining.
Just left and right,
down.
left and right, left and right.
I love when Dibney was like, don't move. They it's like, and then it moved anyways. Like that movie was filled with lies.
I think my favorite line that we've gotten from this season so far is "For the love of Jeff Goldblum, stop."
Yes.
I was like, thank you so much for that little Jurassic Park tidbit. Thank you,
Yes.
writers. That was so good.
And I mean, she did all this because she wanted to get the necklace back to her people. And there's 3 parts, and it was separated, and so it was all about finding the elements. And 2 of them have been reunited at the museum. So it was nice that by the end of it, it all comes together. And then Dibney, lesson learned. He ends up mailing it back because Barry's like, hey, they said they couldn't find anything, and ta-da!
Don't yell at me.
Yeah, don't yell at me for this one. And it was actually a good thing because in the long run, I think that a lot of times Barry's point to the villains is, yes, your point is right.
Mm-hmm.
It's the execution of
Yeah.
your plan that is wrong. And that's all that it was here. And I can see being an activist, getting fired from her job, all that stuff racks up against you, and you feel like you're not getting ahead, and you're fighting the good fight and going nowhere. So now all of a sudden I have these meta powers. I can use this to my advantage now.
Yeah.
And so I can see how it's easy to do that, but then it also just gets slightly blurred of, her end result, because you end up hurting people instead of helping people.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things for me when just watching, like when she was saying why she did it. It was like, this doesn't belong in the museum. This doesn't belong here. I'm like, well, you ain't wrong, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Native Americans, indigenous people are not, the past. So it kind of puts you as the viewer kind of like, well, I
You're like,
kind
well,
of agree
snap.
with her. I just wish she wouldn't kill people. Can't she just, like, get the inanimate object to steal it? Or
Knock it out or something
Yeah.
instead, maybe. So I had one question for you guys about, actually, sorry, I have 2 questions. So I'll start with the first
Pop
one.
quiz.
First of all, we talked about this a little bit too. So in the beginning of the episode, Dibney and Barry get mugged, and
Yes.
the guy shoots, and the bullets bounce off of his skin and shoot the guy back, and it's very funny banter between them of how he keeps shooting the other guy, which he wasn't. But then later on, when he gets hit by one of the artifacts that she had brought to life, he gets punched so hard that he flies through a door. So I'm just trying to figure out, and maybe the chat can help me understand this a little bit, but if any other time he gets hit or punched, like he kind of, the sponginess, the Stretch Armstrongness comes into effect, why did it not in this instance? Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
At first, I was thinking maybe because it was a smaller, impact, that's why the elasticity or whatever, went into effect. But then I was thinking back to other episodes where larger things had hit him, and he stretched for that. So maybe this is just one of those plot holes that we have to pretend we don't notice.
It's one of those Tiona, just shut up and watch the show and enjoy.
Maybe.
One
No.
of those,
Just stop critiquing everything.
Just stop.
See,
Because
you didn't want to do
I know what your
special
second question is probably going to be too, but the thing with that, when Barry had hit him in the 2 episodes ago, his fist went right through his face, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Are you serious?" So why this time it didn't do that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that's a question, chat. If you guys have answers on that, please let us know. My other question actually has to do with what's her name? Chaitan's powers and how she brings things to life. So we know that she gets arrested. She's in the CCPD holding cell. She takes the officer's pen to take her special cuffs off so she can use her powers. But she hasn't seen anything upstairs. So is the power just, hey, get freed, knock out everyone, and come find me downstairs? Or, because how does she know that there was a tactical dummy upstairs being demonstrated on?
Yeah, that was something I was like,
I'm just wondering the extent of her powers. Does she feel and understand? How did you know he had a gun in there with a smoke bomb in it?
Yeah.
How'd she know that? Y'all, how'd she know?
I'm wondering if maybe it's just something she can sense, because when she's in the museum, she's like, you know, there's a lot of things, like there's gargoyles up on the roof, so maybe like it's just something she can sense.
Okay.
Because I guess she could have maybe noticed that when she was walking into the museum, but we don't see that, obviously. So I don't know. Maybe she can sense it. Maybe she saw it when she was being escorted in, and we just don't see that scene.
See that part. Okay. Also, who has a tactical dummy course in the middle of a police precinct?
Yeah.
What
At like 9:30 p.m.
It was dark outside, but maybe, you know, daylight savings.
I don't know.
Daylight savings, y'all.
Those are some good questions.
It's dark at like 5
5
o'clock.
I don't know.
We got questions.
We got some questions, but
it was kind of like what you asked earlier when we were watching it, because remember when the little girl got put in the hospital and they were just chilling there. I'm like, the doctor doesn't ask anything, like, who are you?
How are you related? Why am I giving you all her medical information?
Yeah,
right now?
guys.
Y'all look a lot like the guy in the red suit and the guy in that ugly blue suit, but
Like, all right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the suit too. I mean, I love Cisco. But Cisco, and I know it's a prototype, but Cisco, you did me wrong.
you did.
You did him so. Barry's very first suit did not look that janky.
He looked like Frozone from The Incredibles. Like that was a fan-made
but
costume.
also mixed with like the tied behind mask of like Zorro.
Yeah.
You know?
I was gonna say, what's that movie? Never mind. But yeah.
He also gave me a lot of Riddler-esque
Yeah.
feel vibes this week.
The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride, yes, Wesley. Yes. But for some reason, I just kept thinking of Jim Carrey as the Riddler this week. And maybe it was because of all the pop references and funny lines, and then he's tall and lanky and in a tight suit like the Riddler would be in. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just...
What was one of the jokes he made that had me crack? Oh, when he needed to go put the suit on, he's like, Barry, do you want to help me? And Barry's like, no. He's like, you sure? It's tight.
Like, there are a lot of references like that.
It's like messy.
They did. So I need Cisco to, hopefully next week, Dibney can have a better prototype of his suit. Maybe something, a better color?
Yeah, I don't know if I like that
the
blue.
color was...
I get the blue versus the red, but...
It should have been darker blue, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe like a gray.
I feel like Cisco maybe was doing it on purpose, though, like throwing a little
right?
shade at him, because he was already kind of annoyed with him about the bachelor party the last time. Like, this is all your fault. So I feel like he was like, no, yeah, here's your suit. Like,
he should have been petty and put it in gold, like the golden booty.
Yeah,
like golden booty material.
He would have just looked like a Golden Globe or an Oscar at that point.
Exactly.
That's all I would have thought
That
of.
would be funny.
Another really fun part of the episode was, you know, all the Wells. The Council of Wells.
Council of Wells.
First of all, I have to say that Harrison Wells' character on this show is one of my favorites. And I love it when we get to see multiple versions of him from different Earths. It's my favorite!
Yeah, because it shows one that Tom Cavanagh is a great actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just, you can never have enough Harrison Wells.
Yeah, and just that he gets to play a different version of himself almost every season and gets to do all these fun things. I mean, we had, I'm calling him the Matthew McConaughey.
That's exactly who I thought of.
I kind of felt like Hugh Hefner with that a little bit.
He was a little bit. It was the way he was talking. It was very all right.
It was very Matthew McConaughey, Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Like,
what was H. Latherow Wells?
Yes.
very
Latherow.
Very sensual name.
We had, Harrison the White. What was that? I just wrote Gandalf.
Yeah, like Gandalf. Yeah, the Gandalf.
So I wrote Gandalf.
Wells the Grey.
Wells the Grey. That was the one.
Wells the Grey.
And then the German one.
was like a Tilda
Harrison
Swinton meets
Wolfgang.
Steve Jobs. Like,
Yeah, there was a lot
He
going
was
on there.
he was a shady lady.
He was
And
funny.
he was a shady lady.
Like-
and I live for shade.
he was like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Like, with just like his little, I was like, ooh, that's done.
And then of course you have post-apocalyptic half machine
Terminator.
Wells 2.0.
Wells 2.0
Wait.
who has also eaten a Cisco.
Yes.
He knows what a
Said
Cisco
it was
tastes like.
tasty.
So, I mean,
And also was wearing like a kind of a crop top. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Can we talk
it
about
was-
that body?
go off, Harrison Wells.
Tom Cavanagh, I see you. I appreciate the work you doing in the gym, boo. And that little V line there, I was very into
You was
it.
smart. You was kind. You was important.
All of a sudden, I was like, oh my
We were like,
gosh.
wait.
Harrison Wells got
Yeah.
body?
It was like, oh, okay. That's
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm over here running around thinking about Barry running around with his abs, and Harrison, don't sleep on him.
Don't sleep on it.
Don't sleep on it. But so this was a really fun thing. So we are trying to find this DeVoe character because
Yeah.
no one, there's a million DeVoes. We don't know how to do it.
Baby DeVoe.
Yeah, they've been spending all-nighters trying to figure out who this person is. So Harrison has this great idea to invite his friends, which he found some friends. We're all excited thinking,
Yeah.
yay!
I love how everyone thought he was joking at first. They were like, I think he's being sarcastic. No, he doesn't actually have
delusional.
friends. He's like, I have friends.
And he is the only person who would go out and make friends with himself.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I live for it.
I kind of do, but also I love me, but I'm not sure I could be a friends with me sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a better person. I'm a better friend to other people than I would be to myself.
That's deep.
Well, they had a deep moment too when
Yeah.
Harrison was like, when Cisco had that moment with him. It was like, why are you doing, it's like, and I kind of was surprised by that. I was like, I did not see that going that way. The whole conversation was like, you've got insecurities. Like, there's a lot of bromance combos going on this episode. I mean, we had the girls episode last week, and this week, I guess this was to appease anyone who might have had an issue with #feminism. That we got bromance this week, and it was a lot of it. In that particular, I was like, whoa, this is a moment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like the writers are like, guys, it's okay. We got you too. Here you go. Friendship for you as well. Friendship for everyone.
You got this. We're all good. Yeah, it was great to see them getting to hang out and talk and seeing his dynamic with everyone, and then them actually finding a solution and having to work together, guys, because he's not a team player.
No.
He is a solo human being, so it was nice to see them figure out a way to work together.
I will say I love seeing Cisco like kind of go up to bat with each one of the different wells, and then unfortunately being exposed or getting exposed to by Hugh Hefner Wells.
Yeah, Chris in the chat says Cisco has seen Wells pee-pee.
Yes. Which is a lot because Cisco and Wells, their relationship
It's
is
just not there.
not there.
It's
Not
not
that most people see each other's private parts as friends, but this one is
Definitely
just
not
extra.
this friendship.
Extra.
Yeah, that was a lot of intimacy there. It was like we've entered a new frontier.
Like I think he said something like,
Seriously.
"This has been burned into my brain." Like
Yep.
you can't unsee that.
Yeah. So, the team's trying to find DeVoe, and while Harrison has his way of doing it, Caitlin comes up with a way because Ralph was on that bus.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Hey, what about hypnosis? Why don't we try giving this a shot?" Do you guys believe in hypnosis? Have you been hypnotized
Yes,
before?
actually.
I have not, so.
Yes, I have, and it is very weird. I do believe it works. I don't think it's like they can get you I don't think they can get you like, I don't know, be a chicken or something. But I actually had to, for a car accident, I actually had to go into hypnosis to like help me remember like what I was doing before everything was happening.
Oh.
And like it did help like trigger some memories. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had experiences with it, not in a serious matter like yours. Mine was like in high school when they bring a hypnotist and make you act like a chicken on stage. I was the chicken. So I definitely believe in it. So I thought it was really interesting that they brought it up and that it was Caitlin who said it, who's very more science and
yeah.
facts and stuff. So this is sort of an alternative method. So for Caitlin to suggest it was a little surprising to me, but still fun. And we got a fun scene with Barry and Iris's couples counselor.
Yes, we got like
Dr.
couples
Finkel.
therapy revisited. I kind of dug that scene when they all three were on the couch. I was like, oh, this is cute. This is because that was such a funny episode. So it was nice to kind of see that again.
So I mean, and like we said earlier, you know, he sees the man crying, the crying man. He sees some women and he's very sexist and only can remember their measurements, which she does not sound like a normal sized woman. Just saying. And then the jacket
very
with the
tiny.
Yeah, very tiny woman with very large breasts. It was just every measurement he threw out. And then the jacket with the bison, which led us to figuring out who the Black Bison was.
Yeah.
So that was just a fun scene. And another way that the team is all roads are leading towards DeVoe.
Mm-hmm.
Who, at the beginning of the episode, we see in our little scene with him. And what is the girl's name? I always forget her name with the thinker. No? Bueller?
Top of my head.
Sorry, guys. I'm blanking right now.
If you know it, tell us in the chat,
but,
please.
you know, she's freaking out because she's looking at the calculations. This is the first time where everything's lining up that the Team Flash could figure out their plan and who they are, and it's ahead of the timeline schedule of what he originally thought. But he quickly shuts her down because he's like, look, I thought of all 8,000 ways this argument can go.
7,798 or something.
Every way just leads with my victory.
I was like, oh, you confident.
Competent.
Also, they're saying the mechanic.
Mechanic. Thank you. I knew it was...
Her name's not like Samantha, I guess.
Or Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Well, maybe next week when they're in the husband-wife role that we
get her
meet them in,
name.
we'll get her government name, you know? She's going to be like, hi, my name's Becky.
Mechanic's my street name, but chrysanthemum's my government name.
So it was just very interesting seeing how confident he still is. And as a viewer who doesn't know a lot about this character and how things will go down the road, I know we've had speedsters who come in and say, I'm the fastest man, I'm tearing you apart, Barry. But when you have a mind like his, it's really hard for me as a viewer to think of a way that Barry can beat this guy.
Yeah.
So with me, this confidence actually seems like, hey, I can actually back it up, too.
Yeah. Because it's always been a test of speed and agility and, you know, brawn and, like, whatever. And this is all, like, psychological.
Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, Savitar last season was always a step ahead as well. They had to really start thinking outside the box to defeat him, but he had the knowledge of just knowing what happened in the future.
Yeah, because he had the memories.
Yeah, he had the memories. This is someone who can think of 7,700 ways one conversation is going to go and know that the end result will always end up with his victory. So that, in my head, I'm scared for Team Flash right now.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're going up against.
I definitely think this is gonna be a Team Flash, like, more so than any other villain we've had to deal with. This is definitely gonna be a Team Flash showdown. It's not gonna be like Barry versus Thinker. I think it's definitely gonna have to be Team Flash. Not that Barry's not smart, but I don't think he's the Thinker smart.
No. I don't think anyone's the Thinker smart.
Yeah, I think all of them together, they all have their specialties together, can, like, you know, equal up to it.
Yeah, because he's laying like these pieces aligned, and they were even prepared, you know. So it was one of these things where it's like, are they playing into his hands the whole time? So is it kind of like, you know, one of those things they say, like, resistance is futile in a way. It's like no matter what Barry does, even when they look like they win, he's the Thinker's still winning. So are they still winning at the end of any of these episodes? Or is everything lining up exactly the way the Thinker wants it to be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the episode, we have the address. We know who he is. We got Wells outside with a gun on the door.
Looking
we got Vibe and Caitlin / Killer Frost on the ready to vibe in at any moment.
Everybody's on deck.
Everyone's
ready to
on
go.
deck. The team is ready to go. And then knock knock, who answers the phone? Everyone looks normal. They don't look scary, creepy.
She was serving a look. Go off in that sundress.
Yeah, she looked really nice.
She did, right? So we have her like, oh, Why do you need to talk to my husband? Is everything okay, officers? Oh my! And then here he comes rolling up in his fancy chair with hair.
Yeah.
I almost didn't recognize him.
I was like, wait,
Skin all clear.
You're kind of handsome. So what's going on
What's
here?
going on? So then I'm starting to wonder, and again, not knowing how this works, what we're seeing is that in a different time.
Is that like in their
Are
brain?
they able to put out the visual?
Yeah.
This is what we look
I'm
like to
confused.
our brains.
I'm genuinely like, where are they going with this? And that's kind of the excitement of it. Like, we weren't expecting a nice old house with welcome mat and for it to be. I mean, I kind of felt like we weren't going to get a showdown, of course, at the end of this episode. But it was like this total 180 was something interesting. And someone actually pointed out that it's kind of similar with the wheelchair that Harrison had in like season 1. Although, like someone else pointed out, that I believe the thinker needs the wheelchair as opposed to Harrison didn't. So
Didn't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm very excited to see.
I was going to say, the preview for next week looks wild.
Yes. Before we talk about that,
Yes.
let's talk about some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
yeah, well, there's a lot going
Lot
on.
happening.
going on?
And you know what we've been seeing with the Hollywood avalanche of things, our great show, The Flash, is not immune from it, as The Flash and Supergirl showrunner suspended amid sexual harassment claims. Warner Brothers Television Group has sidelined the prominent television producer, Andrew Kreisberg, amid allegations of sexual harassment. About 19 sources came forward. And the company says it's investigating accusations against Kreisberg, who created several of these. You know, he created The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, DC Legends of Tomorrow. And they released a public statement, you know, saying that they're trying to get to the end, you know, seeing what's happening. And what we've seen also, the cast members and people involved with the show are coming out, such as Felicity from Arrow, Emily, and Katie Lotz of Legends Tomorrow. And also, Candace Payton answered a fan's question on the topic on Twitter on Monday and said, you know, she stands 100% with her sisters, 1,000%, and have many thoughts, but do not feel calm or ready to speak on the issue and other issues in a productive way right now. And also early this morning, actually, Grant put up released a statement as well.
Yeah, I love that the cast across all the shows are really coming together. They're standing by everyone. I think even Stephen Amell kind of put out something too. So it's, you know, everyone is definitely a family on these shows, and it's terrible what's happening and what has happened. But it's great to see them coming together and not just throwing any one person under the bus.
Yeah, and I think it's great for the women to come up, like these, you know, women cast members to support, but I think it says a lot for the male cast members to also be coming forward, just because this is a very, you know, heavily cited issue, and for men to be like, I see that, no, I'm not doing this, but there's ways that I can help make a safer environment. And like, I believe even in Grant's statement, he said, you know, I'm going to be more careful of, you know, keeping an eye out for the women on my show and the women in my life and stuff. And that's very respectable.
Yeah, he mentioned the question of privilege as a man in the industry, of not having to deal with certain things. Although we've seen that men have had to deal with certain issues as well. But I think, you know, one of the things we might see is that this might be, you know, a productive step forward, especially for the women characters and everything. So, yeah. Well, on a lighter note, over the weekend, on November 11th to be exact, cast members of The Flash were at the Fan Expo in Vancouver. And they took some really cute photos with the fans. We see some nice ones of them kind of, you know, with...
her dog is
Zoe. Queen Zoe. Y'all. We need to get Queen Zoe on the show. And also other fans. Yeah, he's looking nice. Looking nice. Looking rested.
I saw a picture from the Fan Expo where a little girl had dressed up as Killer Frost, and that melted my heart. The opposite effect. It was so cute, and you could tell that they were all just like in awe of her. She was killing the look for sure.
That's amazing.
And also, what fans can look forward to is Candace will appear in CBS Watch magazine. And fans received a sneak peek early, as the exclusive interview and the rest of the pictures will be made available online and on newsstands on November 21st.
Yes.
And she's serving a lot of looks here.
Body yaddy yaddy.
Just,
She's killing
it. Look at that. Queen Iris, y'all.
Queen Iris.
Seriously.
Never sleep on her.
So yeah, a lot of light and dark news going on.
Yeah.
The perfect storm, I guess.
Yes. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So now we should talk about some predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Ooh.
So we see, you can continue your statement from earlier about next week's
Oh,
episode.
yes. Okay, so if you saw the previews for next week, we see it's a lot of mind games going on and a lot of Barry kind of like losing his cool a little bit. So I think we might see our first like big wedge in the Flash team maybe this next episode coming up. Just because we see Iris and Barry kind of have a tense moment there. I think he's going to get obsessed with this, you know, Clifford, aka the Thinker, and the rest of them are going to be maybe not as convinced. Like, they're going to be thrown off a little bit.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that.
maybe. I don't know.
I
Just
like
throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there. Yeah, it's interesting because it does seem like Clifford's gonna start playing the mind games to make Barry out to be the crazy person. But all I keep thinking is that, well, that's fine for next week. But I know the next week is the crossover after that, and I know what's happening there. So I'm just thinking, okay, these mind games, that's fine for 1 week. But, like, I know Barry's not going to be crazy because that crossover is coming out.
True.
So that's all my mind keeps going to after seeing the preview. But, I mean, yeah, just crossover. Like, that's all I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Drew. I think, you know, we're going to see him playing mind games. Because one of the things with the Thinker, I don't think we've seen it so far in this, in the TV show, is that he can control minds and things of that nature. With, I think, his helmet, I think it was. And I think we're seeing, it looks like, I mean, from the preview, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a darker tone going on, which, I mean, I totally love the light tone of this season, but I'm kind of digging that we might have a little bit of a darker tone because it's been very comedic so far, which has been nice, and it's been interwoven with you know, emotions and things and all the feels and stuff. But I think next week we're going to start seeing a little bit more of the development of what all of this is meaning. Where is this leading to? But of course we have the crossover, so we'll probably get to that and then stop and do the crossover with whatever's happening there.
Okay, and then for my prediction, I'm just going to say, like, I would like to see Dibny as a permanent part of Team Flash. Because right now we don't know really how long he's going to stick around or anything. So I would like to see him officially part of the team because I do think Barry needs someone else out there with him. And for some reason, they don't let Cisco be Vibe out there.
Yeah, we got to reference the Vibe.
We got to reference. He was suited up, ready to go, but he's only Vibe when Barry is stuck in a Speed Force.
Yeah.
And so as much as I want to see Vibe and Barry out there doing stuff in the Flash, I feel like they're never going to give that to me, but I need Barry, and they took Wally away. Yeah. So we have
Wally coming back?
We have a spot for a team member. I mean, he is out in Hawaii living his best life right now. Okay. He is in Hawaii right now. I was checking his Twitter before I got here. He's enjoying life right now. His life. He's living. So we have a team member spot to fill because Wally's not there. So I think that Dibny kind of brings something different and a little goofy, sort of quirky way, but someone who we're teaching the right ropes to.
I will say, I know some of the Wally fans are going to be like, you traitor. And I'm not, listen, I love him.
She got a pretty face. I don't know.
I love him. No, I'm not trading him out for another pretty face. I love you, Wally. But I'm just saying, I think Ralph brings something different, like you said. And I think as far as the powers and stuff, he has something like to offer that's different. And so I think it balances everything out.
Yeah.
And so I'm allowing him to stay, like I have control over the writers. Allowing him to stay for now, but
if Wally wants back,
if Wally's not in this wedding,
Disney. Is he in the wedding?
I don't know. It's his sister's wedding. He has to be, right? Like he has
one would think.
One would,
but stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Well, they're letting, you know, and that's the thing about Dibny, too. They're letting, like we saw with this episode, they're letting him have those kind of conversations with Barry that we didn't necessarily see with him and Wally, which, I mean, maybe it's because of the different dynamic and he has to really teach Dibney something.
Yeah.
As opposed to Wally already, feeling that, being on the same page. So maybe, like what you're saying, that it has that different dynamic, which...
Wally was a bad boy for like 2 seconds in the beginning where he was like street racing and then they're like, stop it. And he was like, okay.
I feel like they should have kept with that a little bit.
I know. I was interested in that.
Oh,
but...
father figure? Okay, I'll listen.
Wait, Dad? Here we go.
Daddy said stop? Okay.
I just want to be a hero, guys. I just want to be Flash.
I'm just Kid Flash.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic goes on throughout the season, to see if he really can become part of this here, because in that little extended scene thing that we saw, I know, was it you, Chauncey? He was like, wait, are they trying to put Caitlyn and Dibney together?
I was like, you better leave Caitlyn alone this season.
No, I do not want that.
She's working on herself.
Yeah, I don't want that, but but it was nice to see that he is getting along with other team members and maybe,
I want platonic friendships only for Caitlyn
for a little bit.
I'm just saying
this season.
Maybe Dibney could be the one person who actually gets Harrison, like a team member who comes in and Harrison just he hates him right now, but he's gonna find a way to just break him down and be his best friend.
I feel like Cisco is that for Harrison. I mean, they have that's kind of, to me, I feel like that's a pretty epic, that's one of my favorite relationships is Cisco and Harrison. And I think he gets that about him, I was
gonna say, I almost feel like Dibney and Barry are kind of having a Cisco and Wells relationship.
That's true.
Where Barry's just like, you are a piece of work.
Well, Barry's
in the nice terms.
Yeah, well, Barry was like, I'll protect your heart. I'm like, whoa.
I was like,
where's my West Allen scene this week? Right? What is this?
I'm like, protect my heart.
Barry is cheating on her with Dibney.
I don't know about that.
And he was like, let me be your person. And I was like, Grey's Anatomy much? Someone's been watching Grey's.
It was like,
there was a lot
someone sleeping on the
there.
couch. Barry.
All right. Well, thank you guys at home for watching and listening. If you guys are watching us live, if you're in this live chat right now, thank you so much for tuning in and talking and joining our conversation. If you're listening back to us, please go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, comment on there. You can also go over to YouTube and leave us a comment there, and also give us a big thumbs up like. And we love talking about The Flash, so make sure you guys keep talking about it with us all week. And where can they find you to do that?
You guys can find me on literally all of the things at OKDrewJ.
And you can find me, Chauncey K. Robinson, on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR.
And you can find me at the Tiona Hobson. Make sure you follow AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV across all social media platforms. You guys are the best. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.